Welcome to the Franchise Success Formulas. My name is Aisha Bascaro, your truth teller, here to give you real insights and tips and information, no fluff, just strategies on how to become a successful multi-unit franchisee and leader. Today, we are going to be covering a topic that not a lot of people like to talk about because it is not very pretty. And this is the 5 reasons why franchisees fail. I'm going to go through each one of these reasons and I'm going to give you a little bit of the why this happens and what to do about it. So if you are an existing franchisee, you can then look at your business and see if you are having any one of these issues and maybe correct the situation. Or if you are an aspiring franchisee, someone that is looking to get into franchising and you want to learn everything you can so that you can avoid failure, this is the podcast for you. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So the first reason why franchisees fail is because they choose the wrong brand. Yes, there are over 3,000 brands to choose from out there. There's probably another 1,000 in Canada. There's about 2,000 in Mexico, another 3,000 in Brazil and South America. So there are so many franchises to choose from. And if you don't do enough due diligence and your homework as to which one is the best one for you, you may end up choosing the wrong brand. And how sad would it be that you figure that out after you are in the middle of the business? But that is one of the reasons why franchisees fail. Now, being the wrong brand does not necessarily mean that it's not a profitable brand. It just could mean that it is the wrong one for you. And if you don't truly enjoy whatever product or service and customers and types of employees that this particular brand offers, then it will be the wrong brand for you. And more than likely, you will not have the passion and the commitment to do what it takes to make it successful. So choosing the wrong brand does not necessarily mean that it's the wrong brand model, but it could be that it is just the wrong brand for you. To avoid choosing the wrong brand as a wrong model, you have to do your due diligence. And that means that you need to really look into the FDD, franchise disclosure document, and learn everything about it. Carefully look at the franchise agreement, talk to the fellow franchisees, and do all of the work that you need to ensure that this brand, the model, the financial model, is a good one. Because just because you're a franchise does not mean that that franchise actually makes money. So do your due diligence so that you ensure that you are choosing a healthy brand. Now, being a brand that you are passionate about is going to be a different type of due diligence. You need to really think about, what do you want? What do you enjoy doing? What kind of customers you want to interact with? What kind of employees do you want to have? And are you wanting to do this every day of your life? Now, it is true that if you grow into a multi-unit enterprise, you won't have to be working in the business all the time. But at the beginning, it is going to be pretty intense work. So you have to invest in a brand that you're going to love the product or service that they deliver so that you have the passion and the motivation to do what it takes to make it successful. So that is the first reason why franchisees fail. They choose the wrong brand. The second reason why franchisees fail is that they don't have enough capital. Now, when you are buying a franchise, the franchisor usually has a certain capital expectation, but that does not mean that it is enough. And it might not mean that it might not be enough for you or the market that you're going to be in. So when it comes to the capital that you need to open a franchise, not only do you need the franchise fee and then the money to actually open and build and do the leasehold improvements for the business and then acquire the equipment and the product and inventory that is needed. And then, of course, you need money to hire the team members and enough money to train them. And then, of course, when you have the grand opening, you need money for the marketing grand opening, but that is not enough. This is usually what is covered in the franchise disclosure document or franchise agreement. But you're really going to need more than that depending on the market that you're in. So, for example, if you're investing in a brand that it is well known, let's think McDonald's, Dairy Queen, Anytime Fitness, Massage Envy. The moment that you put that sign outside the business, people will know exactly who you are and what you offer, and they're going to come and buy your product or services. If you are investing in a brand that is an emerging brand or a startup and nobody knows about them, the amount of money and effort and marketing that you're going to need to be able to spread the word about who you are, what you do, what you offer, and entice them to come and give you a shot is going to be a lot more. And therefore, getting to that break-even point in the business is going to take a little longer, or maybe a lot longer, depending depending on how well customers know what the brand is and your effort to get to be known. And so think about the need for capital is not just about what you need to open, but what do you need to support the business operationally, administratively, until such time that the business has enough revenue that you can hit that magical break-even number. And so think about that. That is why many franchisees fail, because they end up, going bankrupt before they reach that break-even point, and they didn't even know that they needed to do that or how to get there. And so that is why sometimes not having enough capital is the reason why franchisees fail. The third reason why sometimes franchisees fail is because they chose the wrong location. So important. It is one of the things that you cannot change once you're open, right? So let's say that you have a location and you have signed an agreement. Usually those lease agreements are 5 to 10 years long. And if you chose the wrong location, not only are you now stuck with a place where you don't get enough revenue, but now you are committed to a lease that is a long-term lease that you cannot get out of. And so choosing the wrong location is going to be a problem, because if it's wrong, changing it will be a very costly expense. And usually franchisees are not prepared to do that. So the way to avoid that is you have to do, again, the due diligence on the locations that are options for you before you open the first one. So one of the things that you need to look at is, I'm sure you have heard location, 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 and it is so true. Having the right visibility, the right access, the right amount of parking is going to be critical. If having customers coming to your location, meaning if you are a brick and mortar business and your customers need to come to you, choosing the right location is going to be critical. Again, visibility is going to be key. The more visibility, the less marketing money you're going to need to make sure that your people or your customers know that you exist. You also have to have a good access in and out, because if your access is not easy, customers are probably going to choose to skip it because it is difficult to get to you. And once they get to you, if there is not enough parking, people might just drive away because they have no place to park to be able to come into your business. So all of these things are going to be important. Obviously, having the right location is also about what's inside your location. Do you have the square footage, the layout, and the image and the services that you need inside that location to be able to have the business model of the franchise that you're investing in? It's going to be very important. So think about all of these things when it comes to having the right location. That is why having the wrong location is one of the reasons why franchisees fail. Having the right brand does not fix having the wrong location. The fourth reason why franchisees fail is because they do not have the business acumen and knowledge to run a small business. Too many people are going into franchising as a retirement phase or as a way to invest the hard-earned money and savings into a business, or should I say the American dream of business ownership through franchising. I mean, I'm not going to knock it down. I think it's a great idea. I love franchising, obviously. However, you need to be able to prepare yourself and have the business management knowledge to be able to make that business profitable. And sometimes that is why franchisees fail, because they think, oh, I run a department. I have people reporting to me. I worked in the corporate world. I have a business degree. Therefore, I should be able to run a small business. And the answer is not true. Having a small business requires a lot of skills, not only in leadership, but business management. Every penny counts. And the reality is that when we're in the corporate world, by the way, I've been in the corporate world, the pennies are not looked as closely as you need to when you are in a small business. And that is why you need to be able to understand not only how to read a profit and loss statement, but how to interpret it, how to identify what are the opportunities. You need to be able to know how to control labor cost. Literally every penny counts. What are the things that you need to do to ensure that you are being as efficient as possible with your labor investments, but still provide a customer a good customer experience? And then when it comes to cost of goods, if you are in a retail or food service industry, managing cost of goods is going to be super important. Projecting sales, doing proper order, managing the product and the storage and the delivery, protecting the product from potential theft or waste. I mean, etc., etc., etc. There's a lot more to franchise management than to have a good brand. You need to be able to understand how to manage the people, how to manage the business on top of being a great operator. So not having enough business acumen is a reason why many franchisees fail. And the business number 5, why franchisees fail, is because they are not great leaders. when you are a franchisee or a business owner of a small business, being a great leader is a critical skill and ability you must have. Being a great leader or having leadership skills will allow you to find great people to follow you. You need to be able to understand what it takes to not just find them, but also retain them and inspire them. And while you may have done a great job at the corporate level, maybe you worked at a government office, or maybe you were a real estate agent, the type of people that you're going to be leading and inspiring in a brick and mortar franchise is completely different. And you need to be able to acquire the skills necessary to become the type of leader that those type of employees are looking for. So it's not just about being able to hire them, but also to be able to motivate them to give you that additional effort so that they can be great team members and help you have a productive and efficient and a happy, positive culture business. And it is not something that it is set it and forget it. You need to be able to learn what it takes to be a great leader now. And then if you want to grow, you need to be able to learn how to develop great leaders and be able to continue to develop them and improve them and grow your organization. Your organization is going to grow as much as your people grow. The better the people you have in your organization, the better your business is going to be. You are going to be limited by the type of quality leader that you are and the type of quality leaders that you develop in your organization. And that is what's going to determine whether you are successful or not. And not being a good leader is one of the reasons why franchisees fail. So as you can see, these are the top 5 reasons why franchisees fail. And if you are a franchisee and you see that one or more of those areas are an opportunity for you, now you have the opportunity to do something about it. Now, if you are instead just now getting into franchising, now you have a little peek into what could be the things or the reasons why you could potentially fail. If you prepare yourself for this, if you do the due diligence necessary to be able to make the right decisions in these 5 areas, you are more likely to succeed in the franchise world. And let me finish by saying that one franchise unit is a job, multi-unit is an enterprise. And when you're growing a multi-unit organization, each and every one of these things are more important because you don't want to grow the problems. If you feel that you may not have what it takes to be able to cover all of these areas and you would like support or coaching on how to be an excellent, top-performing franchisee, I would like to invite you to explore our Command program. This program is designed for franchisees that are already multi-unit or want to grow into a multi-unit organization so that you can implement the systems, the processes, the procedures, and the policies that are required for you to not only grow, but thrive in a multi-unit organization. If you'd like to learn more about a Command program, all you need to do is go to AmericanFranchiseAcademy.com, go into our programs page, and learn more about Command. Having said that, I wish you great success, lead, grow, and prosper. See you in the next one.